Hi, and welcome to our second episode of Real People of the Sunshine Coast. How's the weather today, Craig?
Hot. It's so, yeah, can't say it's cold. It's pretty steamy out here.
It is very humid. So I'm sitting here in the warehouse for Aussie Souls, and Aussie Souls is a creation of Craig Taplin. Craig, when did you start your business?
Well, it all started in 2003. Which is a long time ago, when I kind of found the the clogs in Canada when I took my middle daughter back to meet her grandparents.
Why did you think these would be a good idea to bring over?
Good question. I was wearing at the time Birkenstocks, and I was wearing the Birkenstock sandal and the clog to as I was working in hospitality and doing photography at the time. So the distribution part, I was selling baby hammocks and slings. So kind of finding it, wanting to move away from the hospitality and sort of get my teeth into something a little bit more of an upside. And look, everyone's got to wear shoes. And when they came out with a clog, which is pretty much it was like a Birkenstock, but it had holes in it and it's foamy and light. It seemed like a no-brainer. So that's how it all started. And I moved got our first container of shoes in 2004.
Okay. Yeah, right. And so, do you remember who your first wholesaler was?
My first wholesale, yes, was actually a little cafe in Doonan.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Just trying to think. It was Andrew and Belinda who owned it. Crocs were buying from the same factory in Quebec, and I think 2004, late 2004, Crocs actually raised money through investors in Florida and the States, and they bought the factory in Quebec, stopping us from buying the shoes from Quebec factory too. So then I sort of thought, well, it's going to be a big thing going into the children's part. So I sort of then said to them, well, I'm going to design my own kids model. Yep. And I did that. We moved into these are called the Marine, and this is a little baby.
These are the cutest little shoes I've ever seen.
Yeah. So this is the baby design, but imagine that also as an adult shoe, it has the arch support inside and an opaque rubber outsole. With some nice finishings to it as well. Actually, in 2008, we went public on the OTC bulletin board in US, and if we'd have been a little bit sooner and got there by end of 2007, it would have been a bit different. But it was still very hard push, and in the end, the GFC hit us in the beginning of 2008, and it was hard. Yeah, it was really tough. We had a warehouse in LA, a warehouse third-party logistics. So they were contract warehouses holding stock in the US, in LA, in New York, so in Vancouver. It took a little time to sort of clear that to pay down those people, and then move back to Australia, where I kind of started again.
So has it always been in this spot in Coolum, or?
No, we started in Noosa.
Oh, yeah.
In Doonan, actually, which is Wattlebird Drive. It's the last street in Noosa, I like to say, 4566. And we had 4 containers back in 2004, plus the garage, plus 3 staff in the garage. So I moved from there to Venture Drive in Noosaville, and we were there for about 5 years. And then 2010, I took a lease here when this industrial estate was being built.
So why did you start on the Sunshine Coast? Start the business on the Sunshine Coast?
Well, I'd moved up here from Melbourne with my family, and so it just was the best place to live. My ex-wife now is from Canada, so back at the time, she'd sort of said, if we don't go somewhere hot, living in Melbourne, we may as well live in Canada. So we took a drive, found Noosa, and went, this is it. And have lived here ever since. Look, it's helped me to focus in on the things that are important to this kind of lifestyle, climate, etc. So focusing more on thongs than clogs. So here,
Let's look at some of the products you've got.
yeah, okay. So the Starfish is the original thong that I started with, designed and introduced back in probably late 2004, 2005, and Starfish purely because it's of the cute design on the bottom, leaving starfish everywhere you go, and a map of Australia.
With Tasmania.
That's right, with Tassie, of course. Never forget Tassie. Okay, so the Aussianas were designed based on the findings in the study that we did in 2010. So Aussianas kind of came together as being a bit of Australiana. We've got the Aussie map on there and as the logo and on the starfish, and I just sort of wanted to put it together like that. So after it had been registered in Australia for some years, the Appagatus company that own Havianas came in knocking on the door saying, "You can't do that. That's like our name." And anyway, after a little bit of a battle, a little bit of a tussle, not too much, but a little bit, we came out the winners in Australia and quite a few other countries around the world, where it has been accepted as being completely different. And
Go Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Aussie, Aussie, oi, oi, oi. So they had to pay the legal fees for me on that, and it's something that I like to think as being a little bit of a success story for the business and for our progress. Yeah,
Absolutely. And I'm very excited because I'm one of the first people to try out their new slippers for winter. Woohoo! Yeah.
Aussie Soles memory foam slippers. So here we have the memory foam slippers. Basically inside we've got a 2 centimetre thick memory foam footbed and a really nice slip-resistant TPR outsole, thermoplastic rubber. So they are, and then the fleece inside, which is really, really nice and warm. And as a little scuff, people can really enjoy just slipping into them.
And they're so warm, which is probably not quite great for the today. But anyway, I had to test them out. So yeah.
Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah, so
Thank you. The memory foam inside is the common thread between all of our products. So we use what's called Auslite foam technology in all of our products, and so that's the common thread. So I use the Auslite memory foam in the footbed, and then make it into a nice looking slipper.
And where can people get access to these amazing products?
Well, all of the ranges are available at pharmacies, so leading pharmacies around Australia. We're in close to 500 pharmacies now, and we're sold in souvenir stores as well, and some gift stores, some fashion stores. So there's a different range, but on the website you can find all of our locations.
Yep. And can they get them online as well?
Yes, we do sell them online.
And what is that web address?
That's aussiesoles.com, AUSSIESOLES.com.
Well, thank you for joining us today for another episode. Thank you, Craig.
You're welcome.
Your story is amazing and very inspirational, and you've and your challenges that you've overcome. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Our next episode will be at the University of the Sunshine Coast, and we're going to be looking at some of the innovative facilities that they've got there, and they've also got a new degree in a Bachelor of Communications in Social Media, which we'll hear about as well. So we'll be talking to Dr. Karen Sutherland in 2 weeks' time. So thanks for joining us. Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, Lisa.
Please comment and share and help us spread the word and support our local businesses. Go on.